Hi, and good evening. My name is Stephanie Miele, and welcome to Voices Beneath the Waves. We are celebrating 25 years with the Women Divers Hall of Fame, and it is my absolute honor to be hosting this series. This is going to be a once-a-month series for 12 months where I have the honor and privilege of interviewing my sea sisters, women that have been trailblazers in their industry, in their field, and we get a chance to kind of peek behind the curtains and ask them questions about passion, grit, the why, and everything in between. So without further ado, my first guest is Kathy Weydig. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Thank you for taking the time to do this.
Of course.
This is a dream for me. You have been in my life for a long time. You have guided me. You have been instrumental in many people's career paths. And I think this is amazing to have you kicking this off. You're a founding member of the Women Divers Hall of Fame. You have done amazing things in your career, and I can't do it justice. Can we take a couple minutes and explain? Can you go over your career? What are you doing now? And then maybe we can backtrack as to how you got where you are.
Okay, what I'm doing now, I am the chairperson of the board of Diving Alert Network. I've been on the board for 20 years. I went on the board about 5 years after we started Women Divers Hall of Fame. So that was kind of my next step of something else to do in the dive community. And I'm still teaching open water scuba with SDI. I'm number 14.
Yes, you are.
So I've been with SDI and TDI a long time, since the very beginning. And I was at Instructor, and I was 11520 for some of you old timers. That numbers made a difference. I started, I just ran and got a photograph. So I don't know if you can see this. This started my dive career. That's me. Okay. And this is 1967. And that's my brother. And this is in Montauk, Long Island. And wow. He was a scuba diver, and that's my sister. My oldest sister took the photo. This was my announcement when I became a scuba instructor. And
I love it.
So I love the water my whole life. I've been brought up on a boat, and I lived in Westchester County and in New York. And then my dad and my uncle had a boat in Long Island. So we went out there since I was an infant. I have a 100-ton capstan license that I've had I'm on my seventh renewal. So I've had it for over 35 years.
Wow.
Anything in, on, or under the water. I do sea scouting. I've been a Sea Scout skipper. I started a ship in the middle of the desert. I live in Lake Havasu City, Arizona now. So I started a Sea Scout ship in the middle of the desert. So when we talk about this is not a dress rehearsal, you got to do it. There's no such thing as no in my vocabulary. So
I love that. I love that. And you've been in the industry for decades. And this past DEMA show, which was in Las Vegas, you had mentioned to me, you said, life isn't a dress rehearsal. This is not a dress rehearsal. So, and that has stuck with me you've said this to me in the past as well. And it really hits, because there are a lot of times that I think we catch ourselves going, I have time for that. Well, maybe not right now. So can you kind of walk me through that, that what you live by, which is the life isn't a dress rehearsal? How do you apply that to your everyday life?
I think what happened was that my junior year in college, I went off to school in Europe, and I spent a year in Europe. And I realized that as Americans, that we are not the be all to end all, after knowing that spending 10 months in Austria, where they speak 3 languages just get out of high school. And I didn't know what a nominative and dative case was to help me learn German. So it was like, okay, there's more to this. And then traveling around Europe and to Greece and England and Ireland and all these amazing places, I got that, oh my God, I have this travel obsession. And then with my water, I was like, oh, let me see if I can combine these two like favorite things that I think makes everybody a better person by traveling and seeing other cultures. So, and I do the same thing with Sea Scouts. I tell these young kids, they're 13 and a half to 21 years old, that they have to get off their phone and go do something. And so I'm continuing. I train almost all of them to scuba dive, and we went to Sierra Cortez and had a great adventure. And we've gone to Cozumel, and these kids they never had a passport. They've never bought a plane ticket. They are just, so to me, that's my give back now on live each day the best you can.
So how did Sea Scouts come about? How did that come into place?
My son Jonah, which some of the Sea Sisters may or may not know. I was 40 when we started Women Divers Hall of Fame. I had Jane and she was 2. And after the first year, I was pregnant with Jonah. So my son then, when he was, if anyone knows Cub Scouts, he was a bear, and he didn't like the leader, and he's brought up by Joel and I. So of course he's got that spirit that if he didn't like what that adult was saying or doing, that he didn't need to follow. So he said he quit, but still wanted to do it. So the following year, Mom, I really want to do this. So I had to end up doing Weeblos. And being in the middle of the desert, you have to do all this online training for Boy Scouts. And then the thing came up was this is scouting. And they talked about Sea Scouts. I'm going like, wait. How do I not know about this? So through my adventures of Sea Scouts, I learned that we can do scuba ships. A ship is the same thing as a troop. And you can do a scuba ship, meaning that's your main focus of your activities. So that's what we do. We do scuba through Scouts. So then that way some of the insurance is covered by Scouts too, which is kind of cool.
Yes.
And that's here great. We are 14 years later. I'm still doing Sea Scouts.
That's amazing. The look on their faces must be amazing when they take their first breaths underwater. When you get a chance, you have the honor of guiding them through this, which I think it is amazing to give or gift somebody that experience. A lot of people don't have that experience. And you and I have spoken frankly about kids and having kids, deciding to have kids, and how that kind of changes someone's life in multiple different ways. And that's something that you and I wanted to touch on during this conversation. But before we get there, talk to me about Divers Alert Network. How did that come into play for you?
Well, as we talk, there's a cat tail behind you, or a dog tail. That's really
there are 3 of them.
When with Scouts, we talk about mentoring, and yes. I think that what everyone needs to know that I do that now to be a mentor to them because the mentors that I had. So I had a painter mentor who was a fabulous person who taught me all about the arts. I had my ex-mother-in-law who was her death was my dearest friend, and she was basically I was her Jedi, and she was my Yoda. And then I had Dr. Bill Hamilton, who Bill Hamilton, for some of you who didn't ever meet Bill Hamilton, he wrote a lot of the tables for most of the navies. He was just an amazing, amazing person, him and his wife, Kathy Hamilton. And he became a mentor of mine. And he's the one that put me in as a nominee to go on the board. So I stress to everyone on here that mentoring is the most important thing. So now my mentors are all passed. And now Joel Silverstein, my husband, and I are both really feel that it's time for us to make sure that we mentor the next generation, because without them, we are doomed.
Very true. Very true. And it's, I still have several mentors. One of mine passed last year, Brett Gillum. So love Brett or hate Brett there. Brett was a dynamic force, and he taught me quite a bit. And I learned a lot about myself. But you're dead on with mentorship. I think it's our duty to pass on knowledge and the mistakes we've made, because I think as we age and as we grow, we make mistakes, but we learn from those mistakes. Those are teachable moments all the way around. So I couldn't agree with you more. And I do try and take young people under my wing and share what I know. Do I know everything? No. But I think you really truly hit upon an amazing point here, because I think a lot of our C sisters as well are amazing mentors and are giving back in amazing ways. So no, thank you for hitting on that.
Well, because it's opportunity, and almost everyone in Women Divers Hall of Fame that are older had to do this all on their own.
Yes,
this was all. When I started, it was 25% women. That was it. And you had to push your way. You had to be better than everybody else. You had to be more trained than everybody else. And I think all of our C sisters had to do that as a female, that they really had to really shine and prove and not make mistakes and really put their best foot forward every day.
Yep, every single time. Agreed. And there are different. It was different for many of us back then. I remember having to pave my way, and it was difficult. It should not have been as difficult as it was, period, for you and for many, many other people. So having that ability to have some powerful forces behind the younger generations coming up and giving them the confidence and the skills to persevere, because there will be hardships, period. That's life.
Right.
And yeah. So kind of parlaying into the Women Divers Hall of Fame. How did the organization come to be? Can you kind of take me through that?
So Zig, Armin Zig, who was the founder with his wife. Well, I think he was a founder before Joanne. Joanne, who was also was a member of Women Divers Hall of Fame. Was in charge of Beneath the Sea, and they wanted to do something special in the year 2000, and wanted to do this thing, which was supposed to be 1 year to recognize women in the dive industry that have done significant contributions to the dive industry, and that's how it was started. So he mentioned it to Hillary Vitters, and then Hillary brought in Jennifer King and Carol Rose and Patty Mortera. And then because Hillary and I worked so well together, I wasn't originally in they classified me as the founder until the next year, because I had done so much work, but I wasn't in that first meeting. So then after that, then they brought me on as a founder, and I was the first president. So
amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. And for the viewership, the people that are listening and watching, it is an amazing group of individuals that have raised tens upon thousands of dollars in scholarships and grants that are awarded yearly. This is something that has truly impacted many people's lives. And it's an amazing group that continuously and tirelessly gives back. It's all volunteer. So it's people trying to make a difference with others in their lives and elevate one another. So that's part of this 25-year special, is to highlight what people have done and maybe inspire others to take that chance and not treat life like a dress rehearsal, because it's not.
Right.
So thank you for kind of giving me highlights as to some of the moments in your life. And there's an author called Simon Sinek, and he wrote many books, one of which is it starts with why, and why we do the things that we want to do. And it could be an influence of a person, it could be an experience. If you had to tell the viewership why you've done what you've done with your career, are there any points that you'd love to kind of let people know about? Like, why do you do what you do, Kathy?
Why do I do what I do? I do what I do because that's my spirit. Honestly, this all comes from my spirit, and it just whatever feels right is what I do. And I just think that's I don't know what more to say about that. I just find that I want to do good. I want the world to be a good place. I want my children to have a good earth to live on, you know. And I have to say, the Women Divers Hall of Fame and the women that are in there are so inspirational. You almost get there and you're like, why am I here? I mean, I started it, right? But it's like, what? How did I get here? You know, again, back to that David Byrne song. It's like, how did I get here? And every day I feel that way. I have a fabulous husband. I have 2 amazing kids. I have a stepson that I'm so proud of, a new grandbaby, and a daughter-in-law that we love, and 2 daughter-in-laws that we love. And how can I feel so blessed. So how can you not give back? Because what you give to the universe, you give back, I think. So
Agreed. Yes. So speaking of kids, it was something that when I called you the other day, just kind of going over tonight, you had mentioned that we should talk about balancing kids. How does that all work? How does that tie into a career? Should you choose to have them? Do you have them? That's, obviously a personal choice, but walk me through what that was like. I mean, Jane and Jonah are older. I mean, they're in their 20s. So walk me through that.
Okay. So in my, after I became an instructor and then started diving more and more out on the big boats in Long Island, and going through technical stuff, and then of course meeting Joel, and then becoming a tech diver, and then diving the Monitor and diving the Andrea Doria, and knowing that I felt in my heart that I had to be true to myself, that if I never dive one of those big dives again, I'd be okay to have kids, because I never felt that it was fair. And men don't have to deal with this, but I wanted to make sure that I was okay if for some reason after having children that I never dived those big dives again. And so that's why I did all those big dives. And then I didn't have Jane until I was 38 years old, and Jonah at 41. So I became a mentor unbeknownst to me. And when we started Women Divers Hall of Fame, because I had 2 very prominent women come up to me and say, how did you do this? Like, I don't want to say I was old, but I was classified in the medical industry as being an older parent. And yes. I said, I did it, you can do it. And Bobby Scully was one, and she adopted 2 daughters from China who now just graduated from nursing school.
I saw that. It's amazing.
And then there was Lori from Canada, and she was having a difficult time, and she has 2 beautiful daughters that are now in probably like the early 20s now. And it was just like the encouragement that, yes, you can do this. Yes, we can manage this. As a female, you can do this, but it's a decision, because like Joel and I couldn't be on a boat together in the middle of the ocean on the Andrea Doria and leave infants back on shore. Men don't usually have to leave them. Men can leave them, but how could I have done that in my heart if a tanker ran us over and we both were dead? I mean, I just never could settle myself with that. So I've never dived the Doria since I've had children, but that's okay. I did 3 expeditions out there, but that's how I had to settle my soul and my spirit to make sure that I never felt not taken back, but I did not compromise myself for what I really wanted to do. So,
yeah,
and I kind of live my life that way.
that's amazing. It's inspirational. And it's deeply personal when you talk about raising kids, how you raise your kids. And sometimes the spotlight is on you, male or female, and your choices and what you decide and what is right and what is not right. And really kind of figuring that out and making it a personal journey is something that has spoken to me all of my life. I like you, I had my son when I was older. He was 33. He turned 16 tomorrow. So it's driving. So it's I had a chance to get a lot of the stuff out of my system and to be okay with not doing the bigger technical dives if I chose not to. So, and life kind of takes you on different turns. I mean, it's not a linear path, and anybody that I think is thinking it's going to be a linear path, there are turns and choke points all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of talking about that nonlinear path and curves, was there ever a point in your life where you had a direction, but life just said, I don't think so, and took you on a different path? Was there ever anything like that? And then can you tell me about it?
I don't think, I take lots of turns, but they're, and I think they're conscious choices once the opportunity comes up. Like I work for the Sheriff's Department. I'm a boating officer for the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. And it started as a part-time job. Now it's pretty much a full-time job. And I love this job. I'm really old for a person in the Sheriff's Department, just so you know, but I'm considered a civilian. And I take care of 14 boats. I take care of really 5 deputies because I'm basically their mom. I think all women are probably their younger people's moms. I get to yell at them and slap them around and pat them on the back and do all those things that you would do with a kid. But I go to work on that lake behind me. That's the London Bridge for anyone that wants to know what my background was. And it is so much fun. I mean, tomorrow I'm going to work and there's a balloon festival. So we get to patrol like all these helium balloons and it's rocking. And they asked me, how long are you going to work? I said, I'll work until I don't like it anymore, or I have a bad supervisor. And so all the supervisors like, we'll be good.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, it's now I just feel like being older, much older. I don't hold back anymore. And it doesn't seem to matter. People are like, wow, cool. You go, girl.
Yes. Yeah. So. It's kind of nice to really not care. And there's something freeing about that, I think, as a seasoned individual just decides, I was going to use colorful language, but I need to behave just to say.
I'm trying. See, I'm doing really good after our phone call the other day.
Me too. So we got it out there, but it's nice to just to do what you want, knowing that your heart's in the right place. So we actually have a question from Bonnie. She wants you to talk about all you do with Sea Scouts. So.
Okay, so back to Sea Scouts. So Sea Scouts, yes. I mentioned how I started Sea Scouts here. Mm-hmm. So Sea Scouts is 13 and a half to 21. We do fundraisers all spring. That's what we're doing. Matter of fact, we're working the Balloon Festival on Saturday. But the kids, then I've trained them all to dive. They have to earn the money to take a dive class. Then we do a big trip, whatever trip they want to do. So like I said, we went to Sierra Cortez last year. Mm-hmm. The year before we went to St. Thomas, but we went sailing on a 50-foot sailboat. And then the year before we went to Cozumel. But I teach these kids everything from small boat sailing, canoeing, kayaking, large boat sailing, and then we have motor boats. So we have a twin engine boat and a single engine boat and an inboard outboard boat, which is a cabin cruiser that was donated to us. So I have like a fleet. So if anyone wants to come to Lake Havasu City, Arizona, you just call me. I'll take you on anything you want. Paddle boards. We also have paddle boards. Awesome. And these kids learn everything. So we do a boating class. They have to do the state boating class and then a hands-on boating class. So they learn how to actually operate everything that we own. And again, it's just that mentoring and to see them sail even as sunfish the first time by themselves. It's just such a kick in the pants. It really is. And again, how much, I don't want to say, I'm not wealthy, but it's like, how much money does somebody have if they have that great experience having one person? That's the same thing teaching them to dive. That one person that you've just changed their life forever. And I do it on a regular basis with these kids, and I just love doing it. I mean, it's what I do.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And if we don't get younger kids in the sea scale, younger kids in the dive industry, we won't have an industry. So everybody get to it.
Yes, 1,000%. And I think those scholarships and the grants that the Women Divers Hall of Fame puts together is changing the trajectory of a lot of people's lives, because like you mentioned about wealth, there is a lot of there are a lot of people that are in need of funding to continue their education and or their passions, and being able to help change the trajectory is really important. And we sponsor training grants. I know that there are so many amazing grants that are sponsored by our Sea Sisters and others as well. So Dr. Shirley Pomponi, who I'm interviewing in March, has worked tirelessly along with so many others to put this together to make a difference. And it's truly awesome to see. And it's a proud moment, I think, for our whole organization. And
Can I tell you what? But so our first meeting when I was the president, I put my hand out like this. I said, "Okay, give me $500 because we're not going to be just a girls' club." And we started the scholarships with $500. And the Women Divers Hall, because the men that I hung out with was going like, "Oh, it's going to be a girls' club." Oh, blah, blah. And now I look at them and say, I feel like my daughter, my 25-year-old daughter. No. We are the prominent organization to give out scholarships. We give out over almost $70,000 scholarships a year, and it's just not to women. That's what I always tell people. It's just not a women's scholarship.
It is not.
It's for youth and men and women, and even $500 to somebody can get them a scuba class. And now most of the scholarships are matched. The first scholarship I just stopped sponsoring it was for disabled divers, because I trained a disabled diver way before Handicapped Scuba Association, because Rusty Murray, who is one of our members, she was out of Boston with Moray Wheels, and I reached out to her because we knew her from NAUI and said, "Hey, I have this disabled diver. What do I do?" And she went through all the stuff with me and says, "You can do this." And Hugh dived until probably a year before he passed away. And the scholarship was named after him. And because he also could have used that money. And so if it was for adaptive gear or training or whatever, and then to train an assistant instructor or dive master or an instructor so that they would be able to have those skills to teach disabled divers. So I'm really proud of that. I hadn't thought about that in a long time. So thank you.
You should be proud of that. That's amazing. You're changing people's lives. And for those that are listening, the scholarship applications open up typically in the fall, and they're awarded typically in right around now. I know Shirley is getting ready to award quite a bit of that funding, which is tens of thousands of dollars. And if you think about our industry and how it's small, we're a niche industry. That is a lot of money. That is a lot of money doing a lot of good. So a big thank you to our Sea Sisters that have put that together. And so great. Yay. I'm trying to think. There was another question, and it's escaping me. And diving in New England. So I'm a New England wreck diver. That's where I grew up. And talk to me about your. I know we talked about a whole bunch of different things, but I want to know where your favorite places to dive are.
Like this past year, I can tell you of two. Well, A few of my new favorite places are Dumaguete, Philippines, and the Sea of Cortez was amazing. That was a great trip we did. And then Dominica I hadn't been to, and I was there about 2 years ago. That was fabulous. And in New England, Fort Weatherhill. Is that what it's called?
Weatherall. That was where my first open water dive was.
Training there, So in New England, it's just I do have 2 dry suits. Not that I use them anymore, but.
Nice. That's where most.
Oh, Bobby just asked the monitor. Yes, the monitor was one of my favorite dives, Bobby. I have to say, but so was the Andrew Doria. But all the numbers were already stolen from the shuffleboard courts when I went to the Doria, So, and I think someone took the engine off, and the turret off the monitor the second and third and the fourth time I went.
Interesting.
That was Bobby.
Hi, Bobby. She's on my list of people to ask to interview because I think she has amazing stories to share, and she's so kind. So Lisa Mills, great work. We would love to sponsor a scholarship in memory of my daughter, Linnea Mills. Hi, Lisa. I've had the pleasure of meeting Lisa many times. She's an amazing individual, and her daughter, Linnea, is her memory will be forever in a lot of people's hearts. And I think that's an amazing tribute, Lisa, and we'll definitely talk to you about that. Thank you. And one other, and I know they're special to you, Kathy, and I just have to give a shout out to a bunch of people that have been able to make this happen. And I know Joel is a huge supporter of you. He is so proud of you. And Joel, Joel Silverstein is saying, I like being a founder's husband. And you wear that well, my friend. You wear that well. I want to say thank you to Jason Meany and Brian Carney for helping to produce this. It took a lot of time that they donated to this. And there are several individuals on my art team at SDI that have helped put this together. And for those of you that are unaware, Brian and Jason are in Orlando, and they are running in memory of Jared Hires. For those of you that did not know Jared, he is the son of Lamar and Leanne Hires, and he passed away in April of 2024. Brian and Jason are running in his memory. They are doing the Dopey Challenge, which is 4 days of running. And it's no easy task. It's a 5K, the next day a 10K, the next day a half marathon. And Sunday they finish with a marathon, and they're raising money to create a scholarship in Jared's name. So we will be there with the Hires family on Saturday, and we'll be celebrating Jared's birthday on Saturday together. So for all of you that are, I would love for you to keep Jared in your hearts and wish Brian and Jason well. So, and Kathy, I know you know Lamar and Leanne really well, and you know Jared. So pretty special stuff.
Bonnie wanted us to mention that WDHOF has dive trips, and that helps raise money for the scholarships. So, and a lot of them are open to the public. Correct?
Yes. Faith Ortiz runs those dive trips, and for anybody that is interested in hanging out with a lot of amazing people, please visit the Women Divers Hall of Fame website. You can take a look at all of those amazing trips that Faith organizes and helps to lead. So that is amazing. Thank you, Bonnie. And Kathy,
I went on one to the flower gardens off of Texas. It was amazing. We were out there for a week. Great people. We got to see the coral spawning. You want to hear someone yelling underwater? That was me going like, oh my God, look what this coral's doing. Oh my God. So,
oh, that is great. That is great.
Yeah.
Let's see, Jason, who is behind the scenes, are there any other questions that Kathy and or I can answer? I think this is Michelle. Kathy, your insight and foresight with your suggestions for WDHOF have been invaluable. I believe that's Michelle.
Oh, we love Michelle.
Yes, she's amazing.
And Howard. Okay, but
Michelle's great. Cool. Let's see, Kathy, is there anything else that you would love for the viewership to know or to take away?
Well, can I give a shout out? Today, it was announced the 2025 Nogies, and we have 2 C sisters that are being recognized, which are Georgianne Bradley and Becky Kagan-Schlott are both getting Nogies in November next year. So way to go, girlfriends.
Yes, congratulations, ladies. That's amazing. And Dr. Shirley Pomponi was just honored with her Nogi this past November. So there's a lot of amazing people doing amazing things.
Right.
Yes.
And then, you know what? I do have to thank all the women that have kept Women Divers Hall of Fame like moving forward, and Bonnie and Patty and Bobby and God,
Susan.
so many women that have like just took it and went. And without them and their organizational skills, because those women, you go get them, girls. And they just have moved this organization from what was only supposed to be a 1-year event. And then it was like, oh, we missed out people, so we didn't do a 2nd year and then a 3rd year. Then we were like going, well, we might as well just keep going with this. And look, after 25 years, how amazing this organization and how powerful it is in the dive industry. I just, I'm so blessed being part of this.
Yes, as am I. It's amazing to be among some of the people that I look up to, and you've guided me in my career. Whether you realize it or not, you've been, Brian would not be where he is without you, and neither would I. So thank you. This was an amazing honor. And thank you for your time, Kathy. I know the time zones are a little off, but thank you for all that you do and continue to inspire us. And thank you to the Women Divers Hall of Fame for allowing me to host this. So I think with that, I want to bid everybody a good evening, good day, depending upon where you are. And next month, I have the honor of interviewing Dr. Dawn Keegan. I cannot pronounce her last name right. I apologize. Dr. Dawn is actually running the Dopey Challenge this weekend, so I will be seeing her over the weekend, which is fun. And I will sign off, and thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Good night, everybody. Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.